Today, I simulated once again 10 seasons of Formula 1 to see what will happen in the next decade of this championship. Can Charles Leclerc, can Lando Norris, can Oscar Piastri become world championships in their own right? Stay tuned to find out. My name is Chris, welcome back to CFRacing, and enjoy the video. Hey everybody, what's going on? Chris here, otherwise known as CFRacing, and today, like I said in the intro, I simulated another 10 seasons of Formula 1. But just before this video starts, I want to say sorry, I haven't been uploading in about, actually, a month. I've been super busy with work, there's been a heat wave, and I have so much baseball to do. I coach and I actually play for a team as well, so I literally just have absolutely no time to make videos right now. But I'm doing my best to get as many as I can out. I think I have one this week, one next week. I'm going to have probably one every single week for the rest of the year, hopefully. With that being said, enjoy the simulation. Let me know your in the comment section your predictions for the sim. And like I said, enjoy. In 2025, Max Verstappen actually wins the World Drivers' Championship. Probably not going to happen in real life, but hey, you know what? It's the small things that count. Verstappen takes 12 wins, 494 points to finish in first place. Norris took 4 wins to finish second. Hamilton actually took 2 wins. He beat Charles Leclerc by 4 points. He finished in third. Charles Leclerc did have 4 wins, though he doubled Hamilton's wins. He was in fourth. Russell was fifth with 2 wins. Tsunoda had a pretty solid season. I doubt that's actually going to happen in real life. He was 6th. Piastri was terrible. He was 7th. Antonelli was 8th. Albon was 9th. And Sainz was P10. Amazing season for the Williams boys. Red Bull win their first Constructors title of the sim and first one since 2023, with Ferrari in P2 and McLaren in 3rd. Mercedes is 4th, followed by Williams 5th. Aston Martin 6th, RB 7th, Haas in 8th, Sauber in 9th, and Alpine finish in dead last with the Gasly Doohan lineup. In the driver transfer market, Fernando Alonso retires from Formula 1. Taking his spot at Aston Martin is going to be Alexander Albon. Taking Albon's spot at Williams is Liam Lawson. And taking Lawson's spot at RB is going to be Zane Maloney. And heading into Season 2 2026, there is a regulation change to the engine departments, which that's actually happening in real life, so that's pretty cool. Season 2 2026 was Lando Norris' first ever World Drivers' Championship, and he had a great season, taking 10 wins, 462 points to finish in first. He had a pretty solid title fight with Verstappen, who took 8 wins, 447 points to finish in second. Russell was third, Charles Leclerc was 4th, Piastri was 5th, Tsunoda was 6th, Hamilton fell off a little bit, he was in 7th, Antonelli did pretty good, he was in 8th, a little bit off Russell, but still pretty good sophomore season. Sainz was 9th. And Liam Lawson in his first season in Williams was just off Sainz. He was in 10th. McLaren win their first Constructors title since 2024, so 2024, yeah, so that's the second one in 3 years, which is pretty cool. Red Bull finished in P2, and Mercedes was 3rd. Ferrari was 4th, with Williams 5th, Aston Martin 6th, Alpine move up to 7th, Haas are in 8th, RB in 9th, and Sauber end up in dead last with their Hülkenberg and Bortoleto lineup. In the driver transfer market, Lewis Hamilton retires from Formula 1. That's a shock, big move there. Max Verstappen replaces Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari. Charles Leclerc also leaves Ferrari. He goes to Red Bull to take Verstappen's spot. Taking Charles Leclerc's spot at Ferrari is Carlos Sainz. And somehow, Franco Colapinto is going to Red Bull and Yuki Tsunoda ends up as a free agent. Yeah, that's fantastic. Also heading into 2027, there is no regulation change. Season 3 2027 was Max Verstappen's 5th World Drivers' Championship, or 6th, sorry, but 2nd of the simulation, as he took 6 wins, 444 points to finish in first. Which is not the best season I've ever seen for Verstappen. In fact, Norris did have 11 wins this year, 438 points, but Verstappen was just way more consistent, way more dominant. That's kind of the most Norris way to lose the title. Charles Leclerc took 5 wins, 420 points, finished in 3rd. See, someone else can drive that Red Bull, look at that. Piastri was 4th with a win, Russell was 5th with a win, Tsunoda was 6th, Sainz was 7th, Albon 8th, Antonelli was 9th, and Liam Lawson was in P10. McLaren win their 2nd consecutive Constructors title, with Red Bull in 2nd, Ferrari in 3rd, Mercedes 4th, Aston Martin 5th, Williams 6th with Lawson and Colapinto. I believe I said Colapinto to Red Bull. I meant to say Williams, my bad. Alpine in 7th, Haas 8th, RB 9th, and Sauber in 10th. And in terms of Sauber, Nico Hülkenberg is retiring from the sport. That's going to move Zach O'Sullivan as a rookie to Sauber. Pierre Gasly has also decided to move to Mercedes. Paul Aron has gone to Alpine, and that has happened because George Russell could not find a seat somehow. I don't know how. He took a win, scored 243 points, destroyed Antonelli Antonelli, but he has no seat. Also heading into Season 4, 2028, there is a major regulation change to engine, aero, and chassis, which will most likely shake the grid up for that season. Season 4, 2028 is the first ever World Drivers' Championship for Charles Leclerc. Look at that. He took 10 wins on the year. 461 points to finish in first. Lando Norris took 9 wins, 420 points to finish in P2. Good job, Charles. Max Verstappen took 2 wins, 328 points to finish third. Tsunoda also took a win. He was fourth. Piastri was fifth. Antonelli sixth. Gasly also took a win in the Mercedes. He was seventh. Lawson was eighth. Albon was ninth, and Sainz was P10. You can really see that Russell was kind of carrying that Mercedes team as Antonelli did beat Gasly this time. Red Bull win their second Constructors title of the simulation, followed by McLaren in P2 and Ferrari in third. Mercedes was fourth with Williams in fifth. Aston Martin sixth, Haas in seventh, Sauber eighth, Alpine ninth, and RB finished in dead last. Somehow, Franco Colapinto goes to Ferrari and Zane Maloney goes to Williams. That's because Pepe Marti goes to RB and Carlos Sainz ends up as a free agent. He could not find a seat, so we're going to have a Verstappen Colapinto lineup next year. That will be a destruction, I can guarantee that. Heading into Season 5 of 2029, there is no regulation change. Season 5 2029 was Norris' second driver's title of the simulation, as he took 12 wins, 475 points to finish in P1, and it really wasn't close. McLaren had the best car by far this season. Verstappen was in second with 2 wins. Charles Leclerc had 5 wins to finish in third. Piastri had 2 wins to finish fourth. Antonelli took a win. He was fifth. Tsunoda took a win with 6. Colapinto also took a win. He was in 7th but got destroyed by Verstappen. Lawson was 8th. Gasly was 9th. And Albon was in P10. McLaren win their third Constructors title of the simulation, followed by Red Bull in P2 and Ferrari in third. Mercedes was 4th with Williams in 5th. Haas in 6th. Aston Martin 7th. Alpine 8th. Sauber 9th. And RB finish in dead last. In the driver transfer market, Carlos Sainz didn't have a seat, but he ends up retiring. That's going to move Jack Crawford to RB, and Hadjar ends up as a free agent. And in terms of regulation changes going into Season 6, 2030, there is a regulation change to the chassis and durability department. Season 6, 2030 was Verstappen's third constructors or driver's title of the simulation, as he took 8 wins on the year, 448 points, finished in P1, and once again, he had a fight with Lando Norris, who took 9 wins, 439 points to finish in P2. Somehow, Piastri's not doing very good in the simulation. He's taking wins, but he's nowhere near Lando Norris, as he took 4 wins, 280 points to finish in third. Charles Leclerc took a win for fourth. Antonelli took 2 wins for fifth. Tsunoda was 6th. Colapinto was 7th. Albon was 8th. Lawson was 9th. And Ollie Behrman was in P10. McLaren win their 4th Constructors title with Ferrari in P2 and Red Bull in 3rd. Mercedes 4th, Williams 5th, Haas in 6th. Aston Martin in 7th, Sauber in 8th, Alpine in 9th, and RB in 10th. And after Verstappen wins his 7th driver's title in real life here, he decides to retire from Formula 1. That's kind of crazy, as he's on the top of his game. That's going to move George Russell finally back to Formula 1. He goes to Ferrari. Charles Leclerc goes to McLaren to partner Lando Norris. And Oscar Piastri goes to Red Bull to take Charles Leclerc's seat. Heading into Season 7, 2031, there is also no regulation change, but the title fight between Norris and Charles Leclerc might be pretty good. Season 7, 2031 was Norris's third driver's title of the simulation, as he took 9 wins, 459 points to finish in P1. George Russell took 5 wins, 373 points to finish in second, and Charles Leclerc took 6 wins, 359 points to finish in third. Norris beat Leclerc by 100 points. I'm a little disappointed in that. Antonelli was 4th with Piastri in 5th. Antonelli had 2 wins, Piastri had 1 win, Tsunoda is in 6th with 1 win, Maloney was 7th, Behrman 8th, Colapinto 9th, and Gasly rounding out the top 10. McLaren win their 5th Constructors title of the simulation. They're just by far the best car, with Ferrari in P2 and Red Bull in 3rd. Mercedes was 4th with Williams in 5th, Haas in 6th, Aston Martin in 7th, Sauber 8th, Alpine 9th, and RB in dead last. In the driver transfer market, Ollie Behrman is going to Red Bull because Tsunoda ends up as a free agent. Isaac Hadjar goes to Alpine because Aaron ends up as a free agent. And Taylor Barnard goes to RB because Pepe Marti ends up as a free agent. Those 3 drivers cannot find seats, Tsunoda, Aaron, and Marti. And heading into Season 8, 2032, there is a major regulation change to aero, engine, and durability departments. Season 8, 2032 was Norris's 4th World Drivers' Championship. Unfortunately, he beat Charles Leclerc again, as he took 9 wins, 435 points to finish in 1st. Charles Leclerc took 4 wins, 380 points to finish in P2. Russell took 4 wins to finish 3rd. Antonelli took 3 wins to finish in 4th. Piastri had 2 wins in 5th. Behrman and Maloney had a win each in 6th and 7th. Colapinto was 8th, Lawson was 9th, and Albon was in 10th. McLaren once again have another Constructors title. That's their 6th of the simulation, followed by Red Bull in 2nd and Ferrari in 3rd. Mercedes in 4th with Williams in 5th, Haas in 6th, Aston Martin in 7th, Sauber in 8th, RB in 9th, and Alpine in dead last. Esteban Ocon decides to retire from Formula 1. That leaves an open seat at Haas. Taking that seat is going to be Jack Doohan, who's going to be leaving Alpine. That moves Taylor Barnard to Alpine, and that also moves Victor Martins to RB. And also heading into Season 9 2033, there is no regulation change. Season 9 2033 is Norris's 5th World Drivers' Championship of this simulation. Unfortunately, he beat Charles Leclerc once again. I don't know, the game's just doing Charles dirty in the simulation, as Norris took 10 wins, 443 points to finish in P1. Russell had 5 wins to finish in 2nd, and Charles Leclerc had 4 wins to finish in 3rd. And he had actually 1 point ahead of Antonelli, who was in 4th. Piastri was 5th. Behrman and Maloney were 6th and 7th. Didn't have a win this time. Doohan was 8th. Colapinto was 9th. And Liam Lawson was in P10. McLaren win their 7th Constructors title of the simulation. Also, Norris is a 5-time champion. That is horrifying. Ferrari was in P2. And Red Bull in 3rd. Mercedes 4th with Williams 5th. Haas up to 6th. Aston Martin 7th. Sauber 8th. Alpine 9th. And RB in dead last. And heading into the final season, we finally have some quite interesting regulation changes. Stroll finally decides to retire and leaves Aston Martin. That moves Paul Aaron to Aston Martin. That also moves Jack Crawford to Sauber. Gabriel Bortoleto is finally leaving Sauber. He's going to Mercedes. George Russell is also going to Red Bull. Behrman is going to Ferrari. And that means there's 2 people who don't have a seat anymore. And that's going to be Ritomo Miata and Ritomo Miata goes to RB, and then Pierre Gasly ends up as a free agent. And also heading into season 10 2034, there is a regulation change to the chassis department. And in season 10 2034, Lando Norris becomes a 6-time World Drivers' Champion. What an absolute shame. Norris takes 9 wins. He wins, like I said, for the 6th time. Antonelli finally got on the top 2 with 3 wins. Russell was 3rd with 4 wins. Charles Leclerc had 5 wins, but he was in 4th. Piastri had a win in 6th. Piastri had a win in 5th. Bortoleto had a win in 6th. Behrman and Maloney were 7th and 8th. Doohan was 9th, and Liam Lawson was P10. McLaren dominated. They had 8 championships in the simulation, with Red Bull in P2 and Mercedes in 3rd. Ferrari was 4th, followed by Williams in 5th, Haas in 6th, Aston Martin in 7th, Sauber 8th, Alpine 9th, and RB in dead last. But now, let's take a look at the final stats for all 10 years. And at the end of all 10 years, you can see it was quite one driver dominated, as you can see, and one team dominated. McLaren had 8 World Constructors Championships, and Red Bull had 2 Constructors Championships. In terms of World Drivers Championships, Norris had 6, Verstappen had 3, and good for Charles Leclerc, he did have 1. Very happy about that. And in terms of wins, Lando Norris had 92, Charles Leclerc had 46. He actually did have more than Verstappen, because Verstappen did retire quite early on in the simulation. Verstappen had 38, Russell had 25, Antonelli had 14, Piastri had 13, Tsunoda had 3, Hamilton had 2, Gasly, Colapinto, Maloney, and Behrman all had 1 win. So guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you want to see more, hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, join the Discord, link description down below. Also, I think I'm going to have a BMW simulation next, so stay tuned for that. And with that being said, see you on the next one.